Just a short one today, not even going to plug in the microphone. I just want to say you gain absolutely nothing from thinking you're at your limit when you aren't. You gain nothing from thinking that you are so close to your limit that you don't need to improve anymore. You can almost always push more, and I guarantee you that you will see benefits from it. Because people are notoriously bad at judging their own limits. 90% of the time, you can go a lot more. You can do a lot more than you think you can. And even if you can't, you will gain nothing from being at that level and thinking you can't do more. Now, obviously, there are some things where, this could mean injury. But as long as you're not doing things like ego lifting, where you're slapping twice as much weight as you can lift on there. And B, one of the biggest things is if you're lifting heavy, having a spotter, as long as you're doing those two things, not ego lifting and having a spotter, you can't even see that, not ego lifting and having a spotter, you're probably going to be fine. Just make sure, the spotter can lift the weight that you're doing, because if they can't, they're just going to be struggling to get the weight off of you while you die. And B, if you are on a machine or setup that has safeties, such as like a minimum bar for squat racks, make sure you set it to a comfortable level. To set it to a point where you can bail out of it if you need to. Now, obviously, for something like bench, it's not applicable. But you're probably not benching as much as you could. And even if you are, you can probably deadlift it. So what you need to do is just get used to the feeling of when you fail at bench, rolling the weight forward, sitting up, and picking the weight up. Because I guarantee you, whatever your bench is, unless you're just don't have legs, or you have a situation where your legs are significantly weaker for some medical reason, you can carry that weight around that you're benching. You're not going to be able to bench more than you can carry, period. And if you are, and it's not for a medical reason, I would seriously suggest you work on your back and legs. Start doing deadlifts, because if you're benching that much and you can't even carry it, you are probably not proportioned very well. This video is already 3 minutes now, so I guess we're just getting into this. But there are so many things where it's I don't want to, and one of the stupid ones is I don't want to get too big. You're in the gym once a week pushing shitty weight. You're not going to get too big. There are people who dedicate their lives to lifting weight who you don't even think they're too big. So what's your excuse? You're sitting here putting in not even a quarter of the effort they are, and you're worried about getting too big? Not a factor. Not an issue. Trust me, you are not going to get too big with an attitude of thinking you might get too big. It's not going to happen. You're just going to stay small and not actually gain any muscle. I don't want to be sore tomorrow. Then I would go for probably volume. If you're really, really worried about being sore tomorrow, I would say get over it, honestly, because anything worth doing physically is going to result in being sore. Including sex, by the way. If you think you're not going to get sore from an actual decent session of sex, you probably will, especially if you're a woman. Just a heads up. So anything physical that's worth doing will probably leave you sore tomorrow morning. So just get over that mindset right away. And if you really just don't want to get sore from the gym because you're using the same muscles for work, I would say try to work on volume. It'll be the kind of thing that you'll have less acute pain, and it'll be something that stretching will help significantly. and it'll be easier to stretch. As far as outside of the gym, in terms of things like, oh, well, I don't have the time. I'm at my limit in terms of how much time I can spend on this thing. No, you're not. You're wasting time somewhere. And I know this because, well, I still am. I spend, at this point, 12 hours a day at work, and most of that time is absolutely useless. I just spend it watching YouTube. And I'm cutting more and more YouTube out of my time at work. And even if I don't fill it with anything, at least I'm not having it be detrimental. Like, I can just sit here and meditate, and it would be better for me than watching YouTube. Even hell, I could fall asleep. I mean, obviously I shouldn't fall asleep. But if I fell asleep, it would be better for me physically than if I was just sitting here burning my retinas out watching YouTube. And yes, doing nothing but watching YouTube, even my videos, is not healthy. It's not good for you. It is still stimulus. So just, and if you, the same thing with stress. If you feel like you are genuinely at your wit's end with stress, I would take a serious look at what it is you're doing and why you think it's so stressful. Because people have serious physical effects from being overstressed. Like, I just put in a 90-hour work week, and it's Monday morning, and I feel fine. I feel fine. Like, I would not want to do it again, but I'm not so stressed that I'm like, you know, some guy in Japan who's gonna hang himself from overwork, because my work's not hard. Like, yes, it may feel like you're not getting anything done at home, and a work-life balance is probably better, but I would seriously reconsider using the word overstressed. It could be that it's just a lot, and you're just not used to doing that much, especially if it's something like a new job. Maybe you're just not used to doing that much. This video is getting really fucking long for something that I said was going to be short, and I'm not even using my proper microphone, and it's in vertical. Ew. Point being, you're probably not at your limits. And if you actually are at your limits, the best thing you can do to keep enduring is to remember why you do it. It was Alexander Solzhenitsyn that said, "A man who has a why can endure almost anyhow." That's it. I might edit part of this down into like a few different shorts. Since it's already in vertical, I might just do that. I ain't got nothing else.